Hey Chris, it's Grant. So I'm looking throughout the whole property. I don't know who trimmed these spruce trees. It might have been you, but you never ever trim off the leader. The leader is the single leader in the front and the center of the tree. You never trim off the leader of a spruce tree like that's done. It's supposed to have one strong central leader, because right now these trees are going to start going haywire. Next year it's going to have to be corrected. These need to be pruned, say, middle of June next year. All right, all these spruce trees. All right. The Nigers, you could probably wait another year before you trim those back, but these definitely next year. All right. The daylilies all have to be deadheaded. All this dead growth inside has to be cleaned out. Never trim these hydrangeas after August 1st. If you're going to trim them, you actually have to trim them when they're blooming. So it's going to be like beginning of July if you end up touching or resizing these hydrangeas. All right, this year none of these had flowers because last year's spring frost. Like in February next year, you could decide to trim some of your deciduous trees, your pear tree, your okami cherry, or the crimson king maple in the front. But you really want to do that mostly before the leaves start coming out in the spring. So it'll be like more of a February item. Okay. The nepatel, you don't want to trim all the way back like this. You only want to trim off just the spent flowers, then you continue getting blooms this time of the year. So you're losing a lot of the bloom by cutting it back too early. Okay, that's something to pay attention to. Okay. Same thing for the salvia. Those are actually, you usually don't bloom after like September 1st. It's more of an early season bloom that bloom all summer. But you might not have to trim them that aggressively. These are the 3 rhododendrons I think that you don't like, so maybe I can give you some ideas. Maybe just a couple more boxwoods in the back, and then maybe even just carry more of this magic carpet spirea in the front. Keep a continuous feel, nice look. All right, your pear tree actually has a fungus issue. Next year you might end up doing some fungicides. You'll see some red marks all over the leaves. That's all fungus. Okay. The crabapple over here. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, that also has some fungus issue. Not as bad as it usually is. But next year, so we'll have to give you a quote for that as part of your program. And here, the only reason why these died is because my guys who put them in made a bonehead mistake and have the drip irrigation going on the underside of these 3 plants. These 4 plants actually, that's why there's no water getting to them. You'll notice where the drip is above the plant, there's water getting to these 2. The ones down there don't, so I'll have to replace these 4 for you and get these going again for you. So again, these 4 I'll have to replace for you and then fix the drip irrigation. The roses need to be deadheaded. So when you deadhead a rose, you're supposed to remove the spent flowers, and that makes a big difference as far as how many flowers you'll get. You'll get a lot more flowers if they're deadheaded, and also fertilized correct throughout the year. Okay. The lawn, you can see the areas you're getting a ton of sunlight. This hill, for example, where it dries out quickly, are the most stressed areas, and that's the areas you're getting some fungus. I checked for grubs. It's not grubs. So something like this you really can't avoid outside of checking for it. And if there's a change, for example, if the grass starts changing color and it starts looking funny, then you'd have to call us and we can come over and spray fungicide to try to stop it in its tracks. But a year like this where you get a lot of humidity, you know, a lot of lawns have this issue, and there's really nothing you can do from a fertilizing aspect to fix it. It's really costly to spray fungicide every 3 weeks, as you would need to prevent the fungus from growing. So like I said, if you see an issue, just let us know. We'll come over and we can spray it for you after the fact if you see something that's starting to look funny in the lawn. But again, this is all more of a fungus disease issue than anything, and a lot of that's weather dependent. Along the edge of the Belgian block, that's all crabgrass that they killed throughout the year. And that's because the lawn mowing company has to be more careful when they're trimming the grass, not to trim with the weed whacker too short. If you cut the lawn too short, you'll kill the lawn, and then it'll also burn out during the summer when it's really hot outside. So along the edge of the Belgian block, that's more of a lawn cutting maintenance issue. You have to talk to your lawn crew, lawn guy, and have them be careful not to scalp the grass along the edge, because that's going to heat up and then be stressed during the summer and die out, then turn into crabgrass. Then we have to spray to kill the weeds, and hence you're left with a dead spot going all the way along the edge of your Belgian block. Back looks good. Boxwoods look better. They don't have the leaf miner inside them anymore. The leaf miner, just so you know, is going to damage it. You're not going to be able to fix that damage. You have to get the growth to come back in the plant to actually fix it. Next year they'll look a lot better, but at least we got the insect. Trying to keep that insect out of them so it doesn't keep on feeding on them. And then I'm assuming the trees that you want taken down are these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so those are actually pretty big trees. But I'll have to get back to you about that in regards to the stumps, or whether we just grind them. Might be better off just grinding them because they're so huge. Talk to you soon.